So these are the latest evolution of the Aspherical Rounds. Because of changing guidelines and such, working with Shapeways, I wanted to update the designs, tinker with it a bit, just to have something available. It seems to be something, you know, it's not a money maker, but it seems to be something that people continually come to me with an interest in. I'm not entirely sure what the lure of it is, and again, you know, these, I will say it right up front, they don't work. You will not gain range over a BB with hop-up. So, you know, from that perspective, they do fly correctly, so in that respect they work, but you will not gain a range advantage. That said, these particular ones surprised me with their accuracy, and actually with their durability, which is not to say that they're highly durable, because they're not highly durable, but these three actually survived being shot through essentially 4 layers of cardboard. And I have a hypothesis as to why, and that hypothesis involved durability testing where they were shot into a surface where they impacted cardboard, where they impacted flat versus cardboard which was semi-free hanging in at an angle. And when shot into the semi-free hanging in at an angle, it obviously broke the tails off. But when shot into the cardboard straight, including 4 layers of it, it was able to pass cleanly through and survive a hard impact on the far side. And I account for this by, at least in theory, speculating that they hit straight on, and that's how they make it. These, you may notice, are gray rather than white, and that's because they're printed in alumide, which is a mixture of nylon and aluminum powder. And this I chose because it increases the density. So you get roughly a 50% increase in density. So something that would be 1 gram was now 1.5 grams or something like that. These particular rounds come in at a surprisingly consistent density, actually, at about 3 grams, if memory serves. The scale isn't really all that accurate, measuring super low low masses like this. But it's enough that it's caught out other BB manufacturers, so this is actually more consistent than some high mass BBs. And this, I think, is important because now we finally have aspherical rounds, at least in a sort of competitive mass range. Obviously, getting the same density as styrene BBs is problematic in this case, but now we're at least there. So we're in the same mass range and can compete like that. So again, you know, not suggesting anyone try them, but, you know, if you want to experiment with aspherical rounds, these work, and I was surprised how accurate they were. I realized it's not like a huge deal or super accurate shooting or anything like that, but I was shooting with, you know, cheap gun, cheap barrel, cheap test rig, you know, non-AO scope or anything like that, and shooting offhand at about 20 meters. And again, you know, this isn't going to win me any prizes for accuracy. I didn't think they would be this accurate. I got a 6-round group of about 1.5 inches, like that. Again, freehand, not supported or anything like that, shooting. So, well, that's poor performance for another type of gun. That's pretty good performance for an airsoft gun. You know, not all of them are going to be like that. I did shoot other groups and did see the occasional flyer in there, and yeah, and some did fail. But that's sort of what I experienced. I should caution other people against assuming they will get the same performance, though, because I have not extensively tested these. It's just not a priority. It's, you know, an experimental thing. And the reason I caution them is because I've come to suspect that this particular gun, intentionally or otherwise, has a tapered bore, which is to say that the bore is tighter at the muzzle than at the chamber, which would decrease accuracy with BBs, but would hypothetically increase accuracy with these. I have not done anything to confirm either of these. Again, This is not something I've experimented with extensively. I want to confirm they worked and then make them available for the sort of person who believes in them and thinks that this is an avenue really worth pursuing, whereas I still maintain, you know, these will not exceed the range of something with lift, backspin, essentially, and so I just, you know, haven't pursued it. But yeah, so that is a long and rambling video on something that will interest almost none of you. And if you'd like to try them, they are available on the Shapeways storefront. I'll put a link down in the description. They will not be inventoried as with all previous aspherical round designs. And yeah, that's just about it. Oh, I'll also add that they probably have to, it depends on your rig, but they probably have to be muzzle loaded, depending on your setup, because these tails are not as flexible as the WSF ones. And I discovered in some cases, if you bend the WSF tails, even if you can chamber them safely, reliably, and easily like that, they won't revert to true, so you will get flyers with them, right? So they'll remain slightly bent. So all of these, in theory, should be either shot out of a specific rig designed to chamber feed, load, etc. them, or should be preferably muzzle loaded. There are exceptions to this. One of the rigs I'm referring to is the UHC Super 9 Pro. There's a blast from the past for anyone who's been in the industry for a while. That was, for those of you who don't know, the sort of go-to sniper rifle back when AEGs were made basically by Tokyo Marui and Classic Army and were several $100s. That was sort of your low-cost entry-level gun. In this case, though, it makes the perfect test rig for things like this because it has a shell ejecting feature where you load one round into each shell and then it fires it through the shell. And in that manner, you can shoot longer aspherical projectiles with less effort in chambering and such. So I believe other rifles are capable of this. I know the aim top system runs shell ejecting, things like that. It's a bit academic, frankly. People who experiment with these, they're trivial to muzzle load. You literally stick them in the muzzle and they just slide all the way down to the chamber and you fire them like that. But yeah, that's all I got for you. Thanks for watching, guys. If you have any interest in this, which most of you probably won't, you can post it in the description below or whatever, and I'll post a link to where you can buy it in the description as well. Toodles.